Welcome back to Scary Stories. Today's first episode, from Andre Carter, is a story about his roommate who came back from his grandma's funeral in Memphis a completely different person. And the changes started so slow he almost missed them until it was too late to pretend everything was normal. Buckle up, it's gonna be a long night. My name's Andre Carter, 27. I work barback nights at a spot in Midtown Atlanta, pulled decent tips, and split a 2-bedroom apartment in East Point with my boy Jamal since we graduated high school. We're tight, been that way since 9th grade when he defended me from some older kids on the bus. He's the one who remembers birthdays, fixes the Wi-Fi when it crashes, and always has an extra charger. I'm the one who cooks when we're both off and makes sure the rent hits on time. It worked. Jamal's grandma, Miss Evelyn, raised him after his mom passed when he was 8. She was the glue. Church every Sunday, collard greens that could make you cry, and that deep laugh that filled whatever room she was in. When she died in late September from complications after a fall, Jamal shut down. Not dramatic crying or anything, just quiet. He booked a flight to Memphis the same day, said he needed to handle the arrangements and be there for his aunties. I told him to take as long as he needed. He was gone 9 days. When he came back, he looked tired, eyes sunken, skin a shade duller, hoodie zipped up even though it was still pushing 85 degrees outside. He gave me a quick dap, dropped his duffel in the living room, and said, "I'm good, bruh, just need sleep." I believed him. Grief hits different for everybody. The first couple weeks were rough, but understandable. He didn't go out much, stopped hitting the gym with me, barely touched his PlayStation. He'd sit on the couch staring at nothing, phone face down, not scrolling. I'd ask if he wanted to grab wings or watch the game. He'd say, "Nah, I'm straight," in this flat voice that didn't have his usual bounce. I figured he was processing. I gave him space. Then the small stuff started piling up. He stopped eating breakfast. Jamal was religious about cinnamon toast crunch, 2 big bowls every morning, milk so soggy it looked like soup. Now the cereal box sat untouched. I'd find him at the table with a mug of hot water. No tea bag, just hot water. He'd sip it slow, staring at the steam like it was telling him secrets. His laugh changed. When something was funny, old Vine we used to quote, or a dumb TikTok, I'd crack up and look over. He'd smile, but the sound that came out was off, too short, too even, like someone imitating a laugh from memory. He started wearing long sleeves and hoodies every day, zipped to the chin, even when I walked around in basketball shorts because the AC was trash. I teased him once. "You turning into a vampire or what?" He looked at me, long stare, no blink, and said, "Maybe." No smile, no follow-up joke, just that word hanging in the air. The smell came next. His room started carrying this faint, old house scent. Mothballs, vanilla candles that had burned down years ago, dusty hymn books, exactly like Miss Evelyn's living room. I asked if he brought back some of her stuff. He said no, but the smell got stronger. Sometimes I'd walk past his door and swear I could hear low humming, like an old gospel tune she used to sing when she was cooking. One Saturday, I came home from a double shift around 3 a.m. Lights were off except the TV in the living room, muted, some old western flickering blue light across the walls. Jamal was sitting straight-backed on the couch, hands flat on his thighs, staring at the blank wall opposite the screen. Not at the TV, at the wall. I said, "Yo, you sleepwalking or something?" He turned his head, slow, like the joints needed oil. "Couldn't sleep, thinking about Grandma." I nodded. "You good to talk?" He smiled, small, polite, nothing like his real grin. "I'm always good to talk, Andre." He never calls me Andre, always Dre. I went to bed uneasy. The next morning, his door was open a crack. I heard voices, his voice low and steady. I pushed it gently. He was standing shirtless in front of his full-length mirror, back to the door. But in the reflection, he was facing forward, looking directly at the doorway, at me, smiling that same small smile. His real body was still turned away, shoulders rising and falling like he was breathing normal. The reflection wasn't breathing at all. I stepped back. Door clicked shut on its own. That afternoon, he asked me to cover his shift at the bar. He'd picked up part-time there, too. Said he had a headache. Voice calm. Too calm. I did it. When I got home, the apartment smelled like bleach. Strong. He was in the kitchen, scrubbing the counter, sleeves rolled up for once. His forearms looked wrong. Skin too tight in places, like it had been stretched over something bigger. "Rough day?" I asked. He turned. Eyes met mine, pupils large. I cleaned up a little. Place was starting to smell. I glanced at his room. Bed made perfect. No wrinkles, like no one had slept in it. That night, I locked my door for the first time in 4 years. The next few days blurred. He started cooking dinner every night, things Miss Evelyn used to make. Smothered pork chops, candied yams, cornbread from scratch. Tasted exactly like hers. I asked how he remembered the recipes so perfect. He said, "She taught me." But Jamal hated cooking, said it was women's work back when we were kids. He'd order pizza or DoorDash before it'd boil water. He stopped cursing. No more nigga, no more shit. Polite, measured. He started humming those gospel songs while he cleaned. Low, perfect pitch. Miss Evelyn's voice was alto, warm, rich. His humming matched it exactly. One evening, I came home and caught him in the living room again. Lights off, TV muted, staring at the wall. I stood in the doorway. "Jamal?" He didn't turn right away. When he did, his neck moved like it had extra vertebrae. "Yes, Dre? You been sleeping?" He smiled. "I don't need much sleep anymore." I felt the hair on my arms stand up. That night I woke up to scratching, soft, rhythmic, coming from inside the wall between our rooms. Not mouse scratching, fingernails, slow circles like someone mapping the shape of my room from the other side. I didn't sleep after that. The mirror thing happened again a few days later. I was in the bathroom brushing my teeth, door open. Jamal walked past in the hallway, hood up, sleeves down, moving smooth. I looked in the mirror. His reflection didn't have the hood. It was standing there, facing me, skin sagging slightly at the jaw like it didn't fit right, eyes too wide, mouth moving, silent words. I couldn't read lips, but it looked like, "Come back." I spun around. Hallway empty. I moved out 3 days later. Told him your rent was killing me. Found a spot with my girl Tasha in College Park. He helped me pack, carried boxes, smiled the whole time. Said, "I'll miss having you around, Dre." I haven't been back. But last week my phone buzzed at 3:12 a.m. Unknown number. I answered stupidly. A voice, my voice, said, "The apartment feels empty without you. When are you coming home?" I hung up. The next morning there was a text from Jamal's member. A photo, my old bedroom door in the apartment. Scratches on the inside, deep, spelled out one word, Dre. I blocked the number, but sometimes at night I hear humming through the vents in my new place. Gospel, low, patient. And I wonder how long it takes for something to learn how to wear someone else perfectly.
If your roommate comes back from a funeral and they're not quite right, don't wait for proof. Don't wait for the mirror to lie. Just leave. Because once it settles in, it starts looking for the next person to fit.
Wow. The next story might sound unreal, but you gotta listen anyways, just in case. This story is about a mechanic who started noticing his coworker acting strange after a full moon weekend, and how the bites on his arm weren't from a dog like everyone kept saying.
My name is Marcus Tate, 31. I've been a diesel mechanic at a heavy equipment shop in rural Pennsylvania, outside Scranton, for 8 years. We fix bulldozers, excavators, loaders, the kind of machines that tear up highways and strip mines. The crew is small, 6 guys, 1 woman, Tina in parts, and our foreman Ray. We all know each other's trucks, families, bad habits. Nobody's a stranger. Darius joined us 2 summers ago. Ex-Marine, quiet, strong as hell, good with hydraulics. He'd work overtime without complaining, always had a thermos of black coffee and laughed at my dumb jokes. Solid guy. We'd grab beers after shifts sometimes. Nothing crazy, just talking shit about the Steelers or how Ray's new wife was making him eat kale. Then came the October full moon weekend last year. Darius called in sick that Monday. Said he'd gotten into it with a stray dog while camping up near the Poconos. Showed up Tuesday with his left forearm wrapped in gauze. Big bandage, blood already seeping through in spots. He kept the sleeve rolled down, wouldn't let anyone look. "Rabies shot?" I asked. He shook his head. "Just stitches. Doc said it'll heal." But he was off. Eyes red shot like he hadn't slept, hands shaking when he tried to torque a bolt. Darius never shakes. He snapped at Ray over nothing, then apologized 5 minutes later like he was embarrassed. By Friday, he looked worse, skin pale, jaw clenched, moving like every joint hurt. That weekend, he didn't come in at all. No call, no text. Ray drove by his trailer, said the truck was there, lights off, no answer when he knocked. Monday, he showed up again. Looked like he'd lost 10 pounds in 3 days. Hoodie zipped, sleeves long, eyes yellow around the edges, like jaundice, but he swore he felt fine. I cornered him at lunch in the brake trailer. "Man, what the hell's going on? You look like death." He stared at his sandwich for a long time. Then he pulled up his left sleeve. The bandage was gone. 4 deep gouges ran from wrist to elbow, parallel, ragged, already scabbed over, but red and angry. Not dog bites. Too clean, too even, like claws. "I wasn't camping," he said quietly. "I was hunting, alone, up near Hickory Run. Moon was full. I heard something in the brush, big, thought bear. I had my rifle. It came fast, knocked me down before I could aim, bit me hard. I shot it, sent a mass. It yelped and ran. I blacked out, woke up naked in the leaves, rifle gone, arm torn up." I didn't laugh. His voice was shaking. "You're saying a bear bit you?" He looked me dead in the eyes. "It wasn't a bear, Marcus. It stood up on 2 legs before it ran. 8 feet tall, hairy, face like a wolf, but human. Eyes caught the moonlight, yellow. It looked back at me once, like it knew me." I felt the trailer get colder. He rolled the sleeve back down. "I didn't tell the doc the truth," said Dog. "They gave me rabies shots anyway, but I know what I saw, and I know what's happening to me." The next full moon was November 15th. Darius asked for the weekend off. Ray gave it to him, said he looked sick.
Friday night, he texted me one line: "Lock your doors tonight. Don't come looking." I couldn't sleep. Around 2:30 a.m., my phone lit up again. No text, just a photo. his arm. The wounds were open again, fresh blood, but the skin around them looked wrong, thicker, darker hair sprouting in patches, nails longer, curved. Caption, "It's starting." I called, straight to voicemail. Saturday morning, I drove to his trailer, door unlocked. Inside smelled like wet dog and copper, bed unmade, clothes shredded on the floor, his work shirt, jeans, boots, all torn like something clawed out of them. Blood on the linoleum. Paw prints, big, 5-toed, claws dug in, leading out the back door. I followed them. They went into the woods behind the trailer, thick pine and oak, no trail. Prints got deeper, wider, changed shape, from human boot to something else, something that walked on the balls of its feet. I found his rifle about a quarter mile in, stock cracked, barrel bent. No Darius. But I heard it. Low growl, not far, deep in the chest, then a howl, long, pained, human at the edges. I ran back to my truck, locked myself in, called the sheriff, told them my friend was missing, possible animal attack. They found his truck abandoned on a fire road 2 days later. No body, no blood, just the rifle in the bed, bent like tinfoil. The official report said possible bear mauling, missing, presumed dead. I know better. Because 3 weeks later, next full moon, I woke up at 3 a.m. to scratching at my back door. Slow, deliberate. I didn't open it. But through the blinds, I saw the silhouette. Tall, broad, furred, head too long, ears pointed, eyes catching the porch light, yellow. It stood there a long time. Then it spoke. My name, in Darius's voice. Raspy, thick, like his throat was changing shape. "Andre, let me in. It hurts out here." It didn't move. It scratched once more, deep gouges in the wood. Then it left. I moved 2 months later. Different county, different state eventually. I still hear that voice sometimes. Not outside. Inside my head. Whispering. Waiting. Okay, the last story for the day is about a delivery driver who started getting the same package returned to the warehouse every single night, addressed to him from an address that didn't exist, and inside was always something that belonged to someone already dead. My name is Elijah Brooks, 34. I've been driving for a regional courier service out of Tulsa, Oklahoma for 6 years. Mostly medical supplies, legal documents, small freight. Nothing glamorous, but steady pay, good routes, and I'm home by 8 p.m. most nights. I know every back road from here to Muskogee and back. About 4 months ago, early October, I started getting this one recurring package. First time it came through was a Tuesday. Standard white box, no company branding, just a printed label. To Elijah Brooks, 1234 South Quapaw Ave, Apartment 3B, Tulsa, OK 74107. From M. Harlan. Return service requested. No barcode, no tracking number, no sender phone. The warehouse manager, Carla, flagged it as non-compliant, but told me to deliver it anyway since it was local and light. I figured someone messed up the shipping info. I drove to the address. It's a real street, real building, an old brick fourplex near the Gathering Place Park. But when I knocked on 3B, no answer. Lights off. Mail slots stuffed with junk flyers. A neighbor across the hall said the apartment had been empty since the previous tenant, a woman in her 60s, died of a heart attack 6 months earlier. No forwarding address, no family claimed the place. I marked it undeliverable, vacant, and brought it back to the depot that night. Next night, same box, exact same label, same handwriting font, same weight. Carla laughed and said, "Must be a glitch in the system, just re-deliver it." I did. Same result.
Vacant, no one home, returned again. This kept happening every single shift for 2 weeks straight. The box would show up in the morning, sort, addressed to me from M. Harlan, return requested. No sender address, just a P.O. box and Broken Arrow that didn't exist when I checked. I started opening it in front of Carla and the night supervisor. Inside was always one item. First time, a silver locket, engraved inside, to Mom, Love, Sarah, 2009. A tiny photo of a teenage girl hugging an older woman. Second time, a hospital wristband, patient name Margaret Harlan, DOB 03141958, date of admission 0402-023, cause cardiac arrest. Third time, a folded piece of paper, handwritten note, Elijah, you keep bringing it back. Stop. She's waiting. M. I stopped laughing. I took the note to the police. They ran the name Margaret Harlan, confirmed died April 2, 2023. Heart failure, no foul play. Daughter Sarah Harlan listed as next of kin, living in Denver, no criminal record, no open cases. They shrugged and said it sounded like a sick prank, suggested I change my route or report harassment. But the packages kept coming. Every night, same box, same label, different contents. A child's drawing of a house with grandmas written in crayon. A funeral program from April 8, 2023, Margaret's photo on the front. A key, small brass tag attached. 3B, use it. I kept every item in a plastic tote in my truck. Didn't know why, just felt wrong to throw him away.
Then came the night of November 14. Full moon, cold front. I was running late on my last drop, medical samples to a clinic in Sand Springs. The box was in the back again. I'd stopped checking, just marked it undeliverable every time. When I got back to the warehouse at 7:52 p.m., Carla was already gone. Lights dimmed, only me and the security guy in the booth. I carried the box to my locker like usual. Opened it. Inside, a Polaroid. Me, sitting in my truck, taken from outside the driver's window. Timestamp in the corner, 7:48 p.m. Tonight. I spun around. Warehouse empty. Conveyor stopped. No one. Phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered. A woman's voice. Older, calm, tired. Elijah, you've been very kind bringing my things back. But you're keeping them now. That's not right. I whispered, who is this? You know who. Margaret, you've seen my picture enough times. My mouth went dry. I'm not keeping anything. You are. The locket, the wristband, the funeral program, the drawing, the note, the key. They're mine, and they're yours now, because you accepted them. I looked at the open box. The Polaroid was gone. In its place, the key from before, and a new note. Tonight, 3B, midnight. Bring everything, or I'll come get it myself. I hung up, threw the box in my truck bed, drove straight to 1234 South Quapaw. The building was dark, no cars, no lights in any window. I sat in the truck for 20 minutes, heart pounding. Then I got out, walked up the stairs. Apartment 3B door was cracked open, just an inch. I pushed it. The smell hit first, old perfume, dust, faint lilies. Inside, empty, bare floors, no furniture. But on the kitchen counter, every single item I'd ever returned. Locket, wristband, funeral program, drawing, note, key.
arranged in a neat circle, and in the center, a new Polaroid. Me, standing in the doorway, taken from inside the apartment.
Tonight, I backed out, slammed the door, ran to my truck, drove home, shaking. Locked every door, windows, deadbolts. Sat on the couch with the tote of items. At 11:58 p.m., the power flickered. Then off. Silence. Then scratching. Not at the door, inside the walls. Slow, circling, like fingernails tracing the shape of the room. I didn't sleep. Morning came. Power back on. The tote was empty. Everything gone. No scratches on the walls, no proof. But my phone had one new photo, taken at 12:03 a.m. from inside my bedroom. Me, asleep on the couch. Someone standing over me, just out of frame, hand reaching down. I quit the job 2 days later, moved to my sister's place in Kansas City, changed my number. But every few weeks, I still get a delivery notification. Same sender, same box, always marked Return Service Requested. I never claim it, but I know it's waiting at the warehouse, and I know who's signing for it now. If you ever get a package addressed to you from someone who died, don't open it, don't keep it, and whatever you do, don't return it. Because once you do, it starts coming back, and it brings everything with it.
That's all for today's episode. If you enjoy these stories, like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on notifications as well. And if you've lived through something similar, share it with us. Drop it in the comments, DM me directly, or fill the form pinned in the comments. Sleep tight. Until next time.